I'm going to be doing a quick conversation with you guys talking about how you can create value for yourself in this industry. Specifically when it comes to your career. So, as I mentioned, for those that are hearing my voice for the very first time, my name is Ashley, and my journey into blockchain was very, very different. For me, I think this was back in 2016, I overheard my parents, yes, my parents, talking about Bitcoin. And at that time, digital currency, crypto, I'm like, what are they talking about? I thought they were crazy. And then I said, you know what, let me just get involved. I started to learn about it, attend different events and networking. And then I realized how important this industry is and the technology, especially when it comes to the millions of people around the world that are unbanked. And I'm like, you know what? I want to get involved and figure out how we can get more people involved in blockchain, in crypto, to understand the technology, become leaders, and also work in the industry. And today I've been able to help a lot of people. So I want to be able to share some great resources with you guys. If you're looking to launch your career in the industry, here are my top tips. And also share as well some of the great things that we've been able to do, being of course working with different organizations. I've had the pleasure, of course, working with CoinDesk, Polkadot, Chainlink Labs, Near Protocol, and some other really great brands. But I want to share with you guys some of the sauce on the opportunities that are available for you guys, but also how you can take advantage and put your best foot forward, right? So diving in a little bit, when you actually look at some of the roles that are available, and especially if you're brand new to the space, it could be a little bit scary. You may think, okay, I don't have experience in crypto. Or maybe I don't have a lot of knowledge about blockchain, or you're not technical, which is fine. I'm not technical either. But the great thing is a lot of companies are really looking for people that are just really great at what they do, that are self-starters and also are quick learners. So if you can showcase and highlight that maybe you're good in marketing, or you're good in finance, or all these different areas within a business, because realistically, not all the jobs are engineering roles. I mean, if you are, that's amazing. But you know, they need people in HR and finance and all these other areas. So if you can put your best foot forward, show them your skills in these areas, you can actually still land these roles, which is great. And they'll teach you all the great stuff about blockchain and crypto afterwards. So I put together just a quick list of some of the top roles that I'm seeing. And one platform for those that are looking for a role, just by show of hands, who's actually looking for a new career or looking for a new role in crypto and blockchain? Perfect. So one platform I really love is called web3.career. There's a lot of different platforms out there. Of course, Consensus, if you have the app, you can also see the job board that's there from a lot of the great partners that are here. You can check that out too. But the best part is there's a lot of roles that are open. And some of them, of course, blockchain developers, engineers are obviously in a high demand right now. But if you're not a developer, but you're interested in maybe learning, there's a lot of free courses, programs, accelerator programs for you to jump into, start learning. A lot of the companies here do workshops, even side events where they're actually teaching you how to actually get involved, get started. And then after that, they even can provide you funding to actually kickstart that idea, right? With mentorship the entire way, which is really great. So there's a lot of great tools, a lot of great resources for the developer side of things. Product managers is huge. That's also in high demand. And then also marketing is also very big. As you guys can see, we're here at a huge conference. Everywhere you look, you're looking at marketing ads, marketing campaigns, and branding. So when it comes to companies that have great products, and I do find this a lot in our industry, we have so many great, blockchains and different swaps and everything. A lot of times companies need people that can help them to properly communicate what it is that they do with their target audience, right? So that communication piece as well as that marketing piece is important. So if you're good at being able to showcase and communicate, I always like to say I'm very good at being in the middle between the devs as well as people that are brand new to the space, because sometimes it can be like a language barrier, right? And so being able to have those skills is very important. And sometimes you don't even realize the skills that you have, and sometimes your resume doesn't even reflect that. So that's another piece you want to think about. You know, all the different skills that you have, how can you ensure that some of these soft skills, you're also reflecting that on your resume? Because a lot of companies are looking for that as well. So roles like community management is huge. As we all know, especially around the NFT side of things, Everything is around community. Everything that you see here with a lot of these brands and the developers that they have and the organizations, it's all around community. So if you know how to talk to people, or you're part of different crypto communities and you're very much involved, you might want to look at opportunities as a community manager. Plus, what I also love with a lot of these roles, they're remote for the most part, right? And for my Canadians that are here, a lot of them pay in US or can pay in crypto, which is also really, really great. But there are some great community management roles, marketing managers, being able to host different events around the city, around the globe as well. And then, of course, designers, analysts as well, and some of the newer roles that I'm starting to see, as well as people that specialize in certain areas. So whether that's DeFi, as well as NFTs or DAOs, right? People that are able to learn a lot of these skills are able to get some of these roles. And the great thing is, when it comes to learning, a lot of these resources are free and available, right? Right now, of course, you want to be careful which, platforms you're listening to and watching, but the truth is there's so much information available and a lot of companies are hiring, right? It's all about positioning yourself. Now, I also want to kind of dive in and share my 3 core takeaways. These are, and if you're going to take any pictures or anything, this is the slide you should definitely highlight, because these are the 3 game changers that I find really make the difference between you and someone else, right? When the hiring manager is looking at who they want to work with, these are the 3 things that I find is very important. So number 1 is being intentional and also having that confidence. This means that you are not just, thinking about the role itself, but you are really looking at the soft skills that maybe come along with it, right? I find that people that actually have a good variety of skills tend to do even better or land roles more, right? And faster, because instead of just being maybe only focused on marketing, maybe they have experience in community and community building. Maybe they have experience as a founder, right? Being a founder or having your own business, or even if it's a side hustle, that gives you certain skills that a lot of people don't have, right? And then you're able to, once again, highlight that. The other thing I'll add to that is asking for what you want and being bold, which kind of leads into the second one. People, especially at this conference, you're meeting a lot of companies. They need to remember you. They meet thousands of people every single day. How are you going to stand out? So next time they see your name in the application, they're like, hey, I remember that person because maybe they were wearing a bright color that day, or maybe something that they said, or maybe you just ask them a really bold question that they would never, ever expect someone to ask them. And then you apply, you build that relationship. If you're not on LinkedIn, I know Telegram's great, but if you're not on LinkedIn, LinkedIn is powerful, right? Make sure that you're not only connecting with them, but you are actually staying in front of their face in terms of posting all the time, all the things that you're doing. So when you do leave this conference, they can see you all over their page, right? And that you will be in their mind when it comes to applying for some of those jobs and those roles as well. So being bold is important, being present, and once again, being able to communicate your skills is very, very important. The other piece I'll add to that is creating your own opportunities. It's one thing to go on a job board and say, okay, they only have engineering jobs, that's it. But imagine you find the company here, maybe they don't have any jobs available online, but you find the company here, you go up to the booth and you just start asking them. And I love this question. I just go up to someone, maybe it's the hiring manager or someone in marketing, depending on which area you're trying to get into. And you simply ask, what challenges are you facing right now in the organization? Because now, think of it this way. You want to understand the challenges so that you can then be the solution. I'll say that again. You want to understand the challenges in that area of the business so you can then be the solution and highlight yourself as the person that can solve those problems, whether it is in marketing or finance or whatever area of the business. So being able to have those conversations, being bold, having and saying things like that, but also you're positioning yourself and providing value. Because realistically, if you can provide value, they will find a role for you and they'll make a role for you if you can provide value. And that's why being bold is super important. Now, the last piece that I'll also add is defining your brand. This is probably one of the most important things. As you are walking around the conference and you're networking, everyone kind of says the same thing. Hey, like, what do you do? Are you in the space? It's kind of the same generic thing all the time. in order to really make sure that this event is very beneficial for you, it's about being intentional. But part of that is understanding, what is it that you want? What is it that you're looking for? Are you looking for a job? Are you looking for funding for your business? Are you just looking to maybe find a mentor, right? If you are strategic about what you want, then when you are out here, you can tailor your conversation a little bit better and find the right people for you. And once you do find the right people and you are networking, instead of having the same conversation of like, hey, yeah, what do? You want to make sure they know your name, right? Like who you are, what you're doing in terms of what makes you unique and providing that value, and just what makes you stand out right off the bat. Those are the things that they really want to know. What can you add to them? Or what is it that you're really doing that sets you apart from everybody else, the thousands of people that they meet every single day here, right? And that is the thing that's really going to make you stand out. And then if they have opportunities, whether they're the right person or not, they can direct you to someone else that can be the right person, right? And so you want to network strategically while you're here, but this is really how you're going to be able to build relations and land roles as well. I'll give you a quick story. So I actually, one way I actually secured a role in the industry as well with some of the companies I mentioned previously was actually a conference like this. I went over to a booth. I was just networking. I added one of the hiring managers on LinkedIn, kept in touch, and I'm always posting content so they can actually see what I'm doing. I'm in front of their face all the time. And then when a role came up, they messaged me saying, hey, I know you do a lot of events. I know you do a lot of community building. This role might be great for you. And you're already in their mind. So part of that is building your brand, but you have to also be present and be public, right? About you actively building in this space. Whether, even if you're just in the beginning stages, as you're learning new skills, as you're going to events like this, you should be posting, letting people know and employers know that you're actively learning and actively building new skills. And that's the part that really makes a big difference. It kind of sets you apart compared to others. So as we kind of look at this, the other piece is being memorable, right? Of course, it might not be super easy to stand out. One of the things I typically do, not necessarily today, but I love wearing bright colors. And I see a couple people with the bright colors, the red, the pink, the green. I love it. People are drawn to bright colors. It's just a fact. So if you want to stand out, especially among thousands of people, right, you want to make sure that you are looking at those small details that makes you different, makes you memorable. If it's not something you say, maybe the way that you dress, or maybe something else that you do or you have with you that just makes you stand out, right? You go to an event, they say, hey, you know what? I remember that girl. She was wearing red. And they may not remember what you do, but they'll remember what you wore and you'll be in their mind, right? So you want to be memorable. You want to make sure you stand out because that's the part that really is going to set you apart as you are going through your journey. Now, also on the brand piece is owning your story. Stories sell. It's a fact. So the question is, what is your story? Even if you're brand new to the industry, that's totally fine, but you need to know your story. When I just got on stage, I literally started with my story. I told you guys that I first got into the space through my parents back in 2016. And that's part of the journey. That's part of being able to connect and resonate with people, but that also adds to your value and showcases your journey from where you started compared to where you are now. And people want to see the progress. People want to see the journey. People want to understand a little bit about who you are. And even as you're networking, telling your story, especially if you're a business owner and you kind of tie your story into your products, that right there is money. That right there is gold, right? Talking about you and who you are, but you're tying it into your business. This is what I was going through, and then that's why I created this product, and there you go, right? Because they're going to be sold on the emotions. They're going to be sold on you versus just trying to be sold on a product, right? People buy and invest in people, not necessarily just the products. So you have to create that personalization, that personal touch as you are talking to people, being able to relate with them, but also making sure that they understand who you are and what you're about and your products is about at the same time. Now, like I mentioned, I want to, of course, give you guys some resources, some tips in terms of, for those that are looking to get a job in this space, some great platforms, right? We talked about, obviously, the Consensus app has a job board. So if you actually open up the app, you'll see on the menu at the very bottom there, it says job board. You can literally apply and see all the different companies here that are hiring. And if you are actively looking, I would highly recommend going over to their booth, introducing yourself, making sure to tell your story, stand out, right? So when you do submit your application, they'll remember you, right? And if you don't see a role that applies to you, like I said, create those opportunities, have those conversations, see what they are struggling with or some of those gaps are, and show them how you can add value in those gaps. So if there is an opportunity that comes up, they're going to think of you, right? But you have to be memorable. And then, of course, there's always a lot of great resources online, and different academies as well, where you can really learn a lot of different skills to add to your resume and really be able to build as you kind of go along with this. But at the end of the day, it's really about understanding first what it is that you want, what is it that you're looking for, and how can you navigate this conference strategically rather than just collecting more Telegram handles, right? Which I don't know about you guys, but my Telegram is like chaotic. Which is probably why I stick to LinkedIn. But LinkedIn is a little chaotic too. But regardless, the point is to build those connections and make sure that you're navigating the space in a meaningful way so you can actually secure these roles, because it is available. And if it's not visible, they will make a role for you. Now, with that being said, I want to, of course, let you guys know as well that as you guys are going through this, and for those that are not technical, I highly still recommend taking advantage of opportunities like hackathons that we have. Now, I know some of you may think, okay, I'm not technical, I don't know how to code, which is okay, but having that mindset of being innovative and going from, working with a team, having that community building piece, and then being able to create an MVP or a product, that process is highly valued in this industry. In an industry where they're highly looking for developers and creators, that's the type of information that people and employers want to see as in terms of active content, right? Yes, you can, go to different conferences and stuff like that, but what are you actively doing that's adding to your resume, right? And actually showcasing that you are actively improving yourself. Because if your resume looks the same way outside of like the job piece, but look in terms of your skills, if your resume looks the same way over the past year or two, then what's really going on? You have to showcase that you're staying over the times. And realistically, we all know crypto, blockchain moves very quickly. So my advice is take a course. There's so many free courses available that you can learn about some of the exciting things like tokenization and other stable coins and other great aspects of the industry. So when you do have those conversations, you can say, hey, yes, I'm applying for the community manager role, but hey, I've actually done some knowledge and some skills and some courses on tokenization, on other areas in the space to add additional value, right? You don't want to limit yourself to just that one role, but you want to showcase, hey, I do have value in other areas as well. So there's a lot of great things, but the point, and just to sum everything up, guys, it's all about really creating your value, of course, being bold and being present, and really just moving with intention is what's important as well. So I always like to be very interactive. As you guys know, I love a lot of energy. So do me a quick favor, stand up for me. Just shake it off a little bit. Stand up, perfect. I know you guys have been sitting for a little bit here. So I said I like a lot of energy, so I need the energy. Plus, we're at a crypto conference, guys. Like, it's always fun, right? And I like to have fun with it as well. So I want you to repeat after me. I'm strong. I can do it. Let's go. One more time. I'm strong. I can do it. Let's go. Thanks, everyone.